Hello and welcome to this fourth video in the Kinetic Platform training series. My name's Derek Larson and I'm one of the support and training folks at Kinetic Data. In this video, we're going to look at the display and validation options for some of the fields that we added in our previous video. So here you can see, just as kind of a bonus to start, we're in our service catalog solution and we're going to start in the facilities, and here we can see here's our actual cleaning request listed under the facilities category. We open it up. The change we want to make in this one is that if you select a site of Minneapolis, then that is the only time you should see the location for cleaning field, and that field should be required. Let's imagine that, say, for example, our St. Paul office is very small, and that just by knowing who you are, we can determine where the cleaning should happen. All right, so let's move over to our form builder. So one change I'd like to make here that's not directly associated with the other changes to location for cleaning is I want to hide the contact info section. It's just going to kind of be in our way as we're working, so just temporarily we're going to hide it. So we'll also take advantage of that to show some of the display options. So I have a whole section here with my contact info in it. I'm going to choose display, and then if I want everything hidden, just select hidden. And whenever this form is displayed, unless we do something else, we're going to not have these fields be visible. And also there's a checkbox here to omit child fields when hidden. So if these fields had any data in them and I submit the form, none of that data is saved to the database. So be very careful with this field and use it as you need. So of course, let's save this, and we'll open up the preview tab just to see what we've got going so far. So here we go. So we're just going to focus on our what needs cleaning options right here. So first thing is to take a look at this location for cleaning field. So we've got the two options we talked about previously, both display and validation. So for display, there's two options here for fields, an option we didn't have for sections. The first is whether to make that field visible. The default is always visible. Of course, we saw hidden for the section, and then the option we're going to look at here is conditional. One other option that we have for display is whether to make that field editable or not. So if you want the customer that's filling the form out to have the ability to edit the contents of that field. The process is very much the same, or pretty much identical between visible and editable for those two. So we'll select conditional. And what I like to say is that the result of the expression that goes here in the condition field, if that's true, the field will be displayed. If it is not true, the field will be hidden. Now the expression is going to be a JavaScript expression, so that's the syntax that we're going to be using for creating that. Now we build in some helpers here, so I don't have to figure out how to indicate that I want to check the site field. All I have to do is go over to variables, and here are all the values or all the other fields that are part of my form. So if I want to, and there's a couple of other things here about the form, you can check some information about the form, or more likely you might use is the person logged in, and grab their username as part of those. We'll take a look at those later in the class. So for our purposes right now, we're going to take a look at the site field. So we're getting the values of site, and if that is equal to 3 equals for JavaScript, and then you can use single or double quotes here. And in this case, since I have a hard-coded value, I'm going to hard code in my value of Minneapolis. So if the value of the site field is equal to Minneapolis, this field will be displayed. Okay, so let's save and take a look at that. So we can see it right now, but I want to refresh so that it grabs new information from my server. And so here my field is not visible right now because my site field is not equal to Minneapolis. So we'll select St. Paul just to check. Okay, don't see anything. And then we select Minneapolis, and there we go. There's my location for cleaning field. All right, so we're halfway there. The next piece we wanted to do was to make it required. if we choose Minneapolis. So let's go back into the form builder, and down here for validation we have a very similar looking set of options. So once again, I'm going to choose conditional. For validation, never or not required is the default selection. So if I choose conditional, I have this same condition field that checks to see, hey, if this condition evaluates to true, make it required. So I'm going to cheat, as you should always do, and just copy paste directly into that field. The one additional piece of information here, make sure I spelled things at least mostly correctly, is you want to give a message to your customer to say, why is it required? Okay. And that should do it for us. So if I save this, come back into the field, refresh it once again. So once again, I'm going to start without the field visible. I'll select Minneapolis, and now my location for cleaning is visible and required. And we can check that by hitting the submit button. And I can see that I've got 3 fields that are required. The fields turn red, and also I'll see the messages that I have here. Now, we'll take a look at what needs cleaning and additional details in a moment, but see, the required for Minneapolis is listed here. Now, if I go back and look at the other 2 fields, the what needs cleaning, that one is required always. So I can put in a message if I want to here. So let's put in just something I can see really quickly. And then what we'll also do here, let me sure save this, go to details, and we'll just make the additional details not required. So we don't need to make people type in if they don't have to. All right, so let's take a quick look at my changes. Once again, we're back to without the field being visible. We select Minneapolis. So now I've got these 2 fields are required. And here I can see there's message 2 and required for Minneapolis. All right, well, thank you for listening through this video. Please take a look at the community article for more information, and especially if you have any questions. And we look forward to talking with you in the next video.